folks, welcome to Brandywine. I'm Derek. We're going to be installing a wall graphic today beside our women's bathroom. So let me show you what we're going to need to start. We got to have a tape measure to get things straight. Tape is very important. These are the two most important things. You need a squeegee and scissors. If you purchased your wall graphic with us, they all ship with a squeegee, so I'll show you how to use that. Sometimes you might want to use a level. I prefer a tape measure, but if you don't have a flat surface, a level is a good place to start if where you're putting it is level. If you're putting this on a car that's parked on a hill, it's not going to be level. That's not a good idea. So the first thing we got to do is we got to get this thing centered and level. So in this case, I'm not actually centering it, but if I was, I would center it between here, and you just want to take your furthest out, or the two pieces that are furthest out, and measure to your corner or your wall or whatever you want to do. Get it centered the way you want it. This one is where I want it. I don't need it to be centered, but I do need to make sure it's level. So I'm going to go to either the floor or the ceiling, and I'm going to measure. Okay, so that one is 35 inches on the nose, so we'll come over here to this one, and that's almost 35. So I've got it taped here and here, only those two places. So if I peel this down, I can pull this up to 35 inches. Make sure there's no slack here. If there is, that's not going to be a true measurement. So now the bottom of this H is 35 inches, and I'm going to go back to the bottom of this end to make sure nothing moved on this end. When I do that, yep, that is 35. If you do a drastic move, an inch or two over here, it's going to move over here. So you need to go back, and then you'll want to go back and forth. And when you're all done with that, you want to make sure that you're centered again, because anytime you move this thing, it's moving. So the next thing we want to do is take your squeegee, and you want to go over firmly. You want to go over all the letters to make sure this tape that we've got on here, the job of this tape is to take the vinyl off of the backing. And if you don't have a good, if it's not adhered to the vinyl good, you could pull the tape off and the vinyl stays on the backing paper, which is not good. So we're going to do this just to make sure that it's adhered nicely. I'm putting a lot of weight on this. I want it to be good and stuck to my transfer tape. Okay, so we got it squared, we got it, everything's good. I've already torn off pieces of tape, so I'm going to take this. Now you can go to the halfway mark. I like to do about 2/3. So from this side, I'm going to go 2/3 to here, and I'm going to use this tape without letting this thing move, get all the air out, and I'm going to make an imaginary line between here and here. And that's now a hinge. So this is called a hinge mount. So what we're going to do is get our scissors handy. We're going to take this thing and we're going to start peeling this back. Now there's two ways of doing this. You could peel the tape off the backing paper, or you could pull it over here and pull the paper off the tape. This is the correct way of doing it. It helps the vinyl to release. If you do it this way, chances are some of your vinyl is going to stay on the backing paper. Do it this way, it's more likely not to happen that way. So we're going to pull it this way. Just go slow, and if you see some of your vinyl start coming off of the tape and onto your paper, stop. And it may happen on this one, but if it does happen, will you stop, put this back over here and rub it down either with your thumb or with your squeegee. So at this point, everything's going good. I'm going to take my scissors. I'm going to start at the top or bottom and go that way. If this graphic was taller than it is wide, you would do this same thing, but you would hinge on the left and right instead of on the top and bottom. So you want the least amount of sticky material available whenever you're exposed whenever you're doing this, to prevent an accidental. If this thing touches the wall, chances are the vinyl's staying whether I want it to or not. Now I'm taking this, I'm holding this, I use my knuckles here to just keep this a little bit, a couple inches off the wall. You don't want it like this. You want it like this, close to the wall. And I like to start in the middle and go up, and then come back down and go down. Oops. And we're gonna go up and down, and I'm just covering about 1/4 of a squeegee's worth each time I do this. Now, even though there's no text here, I still wanna run it all the way down. This tape being flat will guarantee that I don't have wrinkles going up through here. If you start getting wrinkles, stop, Peel the thing back off the wall as good as you can, and then come back to it and go back. Wrinkles are bad. One little wrinkle here will turn into a big wrinkle by the time you get up there. All right, so now that we've got that, this is holding this whole thing to the wall. We're gonna take this tape off. We don't need it anymore. All the tape can go away. I use painter's tape because I don't want to leave sticky stuff on my wall. You can use any kind of tape, but painter's tape is recommended so that you don't leave sticky stuff on your wall. All right, so same thing. We hinge this all the way over. Now we grab this side and we start peeling this back real slow and easy. Make sure everything's going the way it needs to go. And I like to peel it back until I can hold this edge and this in the same hand. So now I've got that like that. I'm gonna come back over here, start in the middle, go up, go down, up, down. Once I get close to my backing paper, I'm gonna fold it back over, pull this the rest of the way off. Now whenever you get this all the way off, the backing paper does a really good job of, you don't want to pull it all the way off to start with because it does a really good job of keeping everything together. So now I got to be careful that things are going to want to stick to the wall before I'm ready for it. So we just got to kind of keep an eye on this and do this over here all at the same time. If you have a second person helping, just be sure that they hold that and that close to the wall so that you're not fighting against them holding it way out like this. If you hold it out like this, you're trying to put it down and they're trying to pick it up at the same time. It's not going to work well. Now it's on there, it's done. We're gonna just go over the letters again to be sure they're stuck to the wall with a lot of pressure. Put a lot of pressure on this. The idea here is that the vinyl is stickier than the tape. So now I start at the top. If you start at the bottom, it'll work. You just can't see what's happening as good. So I like to start at the top, one corner or the other, and peel this down. And now if you peel it down like this, you're pulling away from the wall, you're telling the vinyl, come with it, pull away from the wall. So go all the way down like this, flat to the wall. And this helps the tape release from the vinyl. And I'm doing slow because if it starts, sometimes it'll get to that corner of a K or something and start peeling that off. And then I got to go back and rub it on there and then go again. That's likely to happen with you. If you're doing this and you're hearing a lot of little sticky sounds, you're potentially pulling the vinyl off the wall as you're doing it. You need to go back with this, and anything you hadn't already taken off, just use that squeegee and a lot of pressure back and forth. Get that vinyl stuck to the wall real good. I like to do a 45 angle. That way it's not coming up against a flat edge where it's trying to pull, depending on the font, that could be something that happens. If you got a real skinny little scripty font, you really got to pay attention because it can pull it off the wall, and before you know it, you've torn your wall graphic up. If that happens, that's why we ship 2 wall graphics with every order. So there you go. That's a wall graphic on the wall, all done. Now I'll show you some more that we've done today.